Hi everyone, my name's Claire Maxwell and I'm here today to talk about bending your knees without strain, without pain, and really without worry, because if you've ever had a knee injury or discomfort in your knees, you can start to get anxious about making movements that you didn't used to think about very much. So when we think about knee, it's one word, but in my mobile alignment system, I have 3 points for your knees. And we think of bending knees when we lower our weight, when we squat, when we lunge. Those are pedestrian movements. If you're a dancer, you do a lot of very elaborate bending and straightening of your knee and gesturing of your foot. But I think bend is a little bit of a simplistic word for what goes on in there. So in order to get your brain wrapped around it a little bit in a more fun way, I like to talk about 3 different points on the bony landmarks that compose the structure of your knee joint. And the first one is the inside of the femur. So it's the bottom of the femur. There's a knob there. And so there's a little awareness point there. So that big knob definitely moves when you move your leg in any way. That big bone is going to move. It has articular surfaces with the lower leg bones. And so the second point of awareness is at the top. I'll go like this. The top of the fibula. The tibia. The tibia. The tibia is the big bone where most of the weight goes through. You can see that it's making most of your ankle joint at the bottom there for the foot. And so that bone also, if you just kind of follow it in space, I can do it with this guy, but you can do it with your own spatial awareness with your own body. So you can gesture with that lower leg bone, and when you fold your legs, when you lower your body weight, and there's a kind of a complex and mysterious movement in the knee joint space, you can begin to get curious about, well, how is that tibia moving? It's actually kind of moving away from the joint space. And then last but not least is the fibula. So the fibula on this guy is on the outside. And it's a very small bone, a thin bone, and it really makes for attachment of muscles. And you can feel it, you can touch it like the other landmarks. And it's pretty solidly ligamented, but I want to give you a closer up view of what it actually looks like. So here's my high-tech educational tool. So this would be the inside of a person's thigh. So this would be the femur point, and look how far away that is from the tibia point, which is down here, and all of this cartilage and stuff in there. And then the fibula, and you can see with the fibula that there's this tendon, and inside there is cartilage, and so it's quite far on the outside. And so as you walk around in your space, see if you can imagine how those points are moving in relationship to each other. So I'm going to do more videos about it, but the main learning point for today is that you don't want those 3 different bones to lock together. Now for a lot of people, what that leads to is a kind of a sag in the knees, but the tibia is great for that because the top of the tibia really needs to move underneath your femur point. So you would never kind of walk down the street like this, you know, with your legs bent. So the tibia in walking really needs to articulate all the way back and then release all the way forward. So it's kind of going like this. And when you squat, it's kind of going like that. And then it's going like this, but it doesn't stop and lock. It actually comes right back underneath you and contributes to your upward support, the support of your legs going into your torso and lifting your weight up off the ground. So if those points are locked together and they don't have a little bit of mobility, it's hard to really access the power of all the muscles of your legs. And that's what's going to support you in your squatting and your lunging and your walking. Okay, so that's it for today. Peace and love. Stay tuned for more on how to bend your knees without hurting them. Peace and love. Bye-bye.